Have you ever wondered what it truly means to embrace life no matter your age? In this video, we'll share 6 heartwarming and inspiring stories of people who've proven that aging is not a barrier to living fully. From a 92-year-old adventurer exploring the world to a tech-savvy grandma redefining independence, these real-life examples will show you how to break free from stereotypes, pursue your passions, and find joy in every stage of life. Stay with us until the end, because these stories might just ignite a spark in you to take that first step toward your own adventure, challenge yourself, or create a legacy that lasts for generations. You won't want to miss the valuable lessons and inspiration that await. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you liked this video, as it helps me continue to spread these important lessons about aging. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend subscribing and turning on the bell so you don't miss any future videos. If you like this video, please comment 1. If not, comment 0 to let me know how I can improve. Now, let's get started. Story 1. The Independent Grandpa Meet. Grandpa Joe, an 85-year-old with a zest for life that defies his age. With a heart full of energy and an unyielding determination to maintain his independence, Joe has always been a role model for his family. For as long as anyone can remember, he has lived life on his terms. Up before sunrise to greet the day with his morning walks, lovingly tending to his vibrant garden, and savoring peaceful afternoons engrossed in the pages of a good book. Over the years, Joe's lifestyle became a cherished routine, a source of joy and stability. His morning walks brought him into contact with familiar faces and warm smiles, creating a sense of community that was both comforting and invigorating. His garden, a labor of love, bloomed with care and attention only a dedicated hand could provide. In his cozy home, surrounded by memories of a life well lived, Joe found solace and strength. However, as time passed, Joe's family grew increasingly concerned about his health. They noticed the subtle signs of aging. His once spry movements had slowed, and he occasionally needed more time to complete his daily tasks. These changes, though natural, prompted his family to suggest he move into a nursing home for round-the-clock care. To Joe, the idea felt like an uprooting of his very identity. While he acknowledged his limitations, he wasn't ready to give up the life he had built over decades. The thought of leaving behind his cherished routine, the camaraderie of the local coffee shop regulars, and the sanctuary of his home filled him with an ache no practical argument could assuage. "I understand your concerns," Joe told his family one evening, his voice steady but resolute. "But this house, this neighborhood, this is where I feel most alive. With a little help, I can manage just fine here." True to his word, Joe explored ways to adapt without sacrificing his independence. He agreed to accept some extra support, whether from a home care worker assisting with household tasks or family members checking in more frequently. With these adjustments, he found a balance that allowed him to stay in the place he loved. Grandpa Joe's unwavering resolve is a testament to the power of independence and the human spirit's desire to hold on to what makes life meaningful. His story reminds us that while aging comes with its fair share of challenges, it doesn't mean surrendering our sense of self or autonomy. With the right kind of support, whether from family, friends, or community resources, it's possible to continue living life on your terms, staying connected to the routines and places that bring you joy and fulfillment. For Joe, every morning walk, every shared laugh at the coffee shop, and every bloom in his garden is a victory, a reaffirmation that independence at any age is a force to be respected and celebrated. Story 2. The surprising move of a retired teacher. Meet Mrs. Hargrove, a retired teacher in her early 70s who dedicated over 4 decades to nurturing young minds and fostering a love for learning. Her days in the classroom were filled with lessons, laughter, and the occasional challenge, but they were always purposeful and deeply fulfilling. When the time came to step away from her career, Mrs. Hargrove found herself at a crossroads. While many of her peers were opting for traditional retirement paths, such as moving into nursing homes or staying in the comfort of their longtime neighborhoods, Mrs. Hargrove felt a pull in a different direction. She began researching options for her next chapter, and came across a small, vibrant community designed specifically for retirees. This wasn't your typical retirement village. It was a lively, close-knit neighborhood where residents actively contributed to one another's lives through shared activities, hobbies, and passions. Intrigued, she visited the community and was immediately drawn to its energy and potential for connection. With courage and excitement, Mrs. Hargrove made a bold decision to sell her home and move to this new place. Despite the doubts and concerns voiced by her family, who worried she might feel out of place or regret leaving behind her old neighborhood, Mrs. Hargrove remained steadfast. She knew that this was an opportunity to redefine retirement, not as a period of winding down, but as a chance for renewal and growth. The first few weeks were an adjustment as Mrs. Hargrove acclimated to her surroundings and met her new neighbors. But it didn't take long for her to immerse herself fully in the community. To her delight, she discovered a group of residents who shared her love for crafting, storytelling, and teaching. Realizing there was a demand for creative activities, she offered to teach knitting classes, a skill she had mastered in her youth, but rarely had time to practice during her busy teaching career. Her classes quickly became a hit, with residents of all skill levels flocking to learn from her. Mrs. Hargrove found immense joy in sharing her knowledge, patiently guiding her fellow residents through each stitch. What started as a simple hobby evolved into a meaningful role within the community, giving her a renewed sense of purpose and belonging. Beyond knitting, Mrs. Hargrove participated in book clubs, gardening projects, and even hosted weekly movie nights. Her days were now filled with laughter, camaraderie, and the satisfaction of making a difference in the lives of others. Looking back, Mrs. Hargrove often reflects on her decision to take a leap of faith. While her family initially struggled to understand her choice, they now see the happiness and fulfillment she has gained. For Mrs. Hargrove, retirement is no longer about simply passing the time. It's about thriving, growing, and embracing every moment with a sense of adventure and gratitude. Story 3. The Adventurer in His 90s. Let me introduce you to Mr. Thompson, a remarkable 92-year-old whose zest for life and adventurous spirit shine brighter than ever. While many individuals his age might choose a quiet, leisurely existence, Mr. Thompson made a bold decision. He opted to live his golden years as an intrepid explorer, embarking on journeys around the globe with his devoted daughter by his side. Whether wandering the cobblestone streets of Paris, trekking through the serene landscapes of the Italian countryside, or uncovering the mysteries of ancient ruins in Greece, Mr. Thompson embraced every opportunity to see the world and immerse himself in new experiences. What makes his journey even more inspiring is that Mr. Thompson didn't pursue the conventional forms of travel, like luxurious cruises or guided tours. Instead, he chose a path that reflected his deep desire for authenticity and connection, staying in small apartments and charming local hotels, blending into the heart of each destination, and living as a true wanderer among the people. These weren't just trips to tick off a bucket list, they were real-life adventures, ones Mr. Thompson had always dreamed of but couldn't fully pursue earlier in life due to responsibilities and commitments. Now at 92, he is living out those dreams, proving that age is not a limitation, but rather an opportunity to embrace new experiences and create lasting memories. Mr. Thompson's story delivers a powerful lesson. Age is merely a number. There's no rule that says we must stop seeking adventure or limit ourselves to a more settled lifestyle as we grow older. In fact, many people discover that their later years bring newfound freedom and flexibility, offering a chance to explore life in ways they previously couldn't. Mr. Thompson teaches us that it's never too late to seek excitement, challenge ourselves, and create meaningful memories. Whether you're 92 or 32, the key is to take that first step and believe that life still holds countless adventures waiting to be uncovered. So, no matter where you are in life, remember there's always room for more exploration and discovery. Story 4. The Tech-Savvy Grandma. Let me introduce you to Grandma Ruth, a remarkable woman in her 80s whose story is both inspiring and heartwarming. Grandma Ruth epitomizes the notion that age doesn't have to dictate one's independence or connection to the world. Although she could no longer fully care for herself as she once did, She was steadfast in her decision to remain in her home rather than move into a nursing facility. For Ruth, the thought of relinquishing control, overcoming the challenges of aging, was not an option for Grandma Ruth. Instead, she took on the task of integrating technology into her life in ways that many people her age might have found daunting or intimidating. Recognizing that she needed to adapt to her evolving circumstances, Grandma Ruth embarked on a journey into the world of technology with the encouragement and support of her grandchildren. With great courage, she learned to use smartphones, tablets, and various smart home devices. These tools became indispensable in helping her maintain a sense of autonomy and manage her home environment. Ruth set up voice-controlled systems to manage her lighting, lock her doors, and adjust the thermostat, all with simple commands. These conveniences allowed her to navigate daily tasks with ease, minimizing the need for physical assistance while providing a sense of security in her living space. However, what truly transformed Ruth's experience was how technology deepened her connection with her family. Using video calls, she could stay in touch with loved ones regardless of distance. Through these virtual conversations, she witnessed the growth of her great-grandchildren, celebrated milestones, and even participated in family game nights from the comfort of her living room. For Ruth, technology became much more than a tool. It became a bridge that kept her connected to the people she cherished the most. Her story offers a profound lesson. Technology has the power to empower and enrich lives regardless of age. Instead of letting her age limit her independence, Ruth embraced technology to retain control over her life and nurture her relationships. She proved that no matter how many years have passed, technology can serve as a vital link to staying engaged, active, and independent. Ruth's journey reminds us that we should never be afraid to embrace these advancements, whether it's staying connected with loved ones, managing daily tasks, or simply finding joy in the present moment. Technology holds the potential to help us live life on our own terms, no matter our age. Let me now share with you the inspiring life of Mr. Clark, a devoted gardener whose journey at 79 reflects a profound lesson about aging, resilience, and the beauty of adaptation. Mr. Clark had spent a lifetime cultivating an expansive garden filled with flowers, trees, and vibrant vegetables. His garden was more than just a collection of plants. It was an expression of his passion, creativity, and deep connection to nature. Over the years, it grew to become more than a hobby. It was his sanctuary, a reflection of his dedication to the natural world. However, as Mr. Clark aged, he began to notice that his body couldn't keep up with the demanding physical labor required to maintain his once sprawling garden. The work of digging, planting, weeding, and maintaining became increasingly difficult. His once boundless energy had dwindled, and the physical toll began to take a noticeable effect on his health. Concerned, his family feared that his age and declining physical abilities would force him to part with the very thing that had brought him so much joy and purpose throughout his life. Though his family's concerns were rooted in love, Mr. Clark refused to let go of his beloved garden entirely. He believed that his passion for gardening was something he could never simply abandon. Rather than surrendering to the inevitability of aging, he decided to take control and make meaningful changes. Instead of clinging to the image of what his garden had once been, he chose to downsize. He transformed his vast garden into a smaller, more manageable space that aligned with his current abilities. The transition wasn't easy. Letting go of parts of his garden, such as the sprawling vegetable patches and towering trees, meant giving up the idealized vision of what his garden had once been. But Mr. Clark was more focused on maintaining a connection to his passion than preserving an image of the past. He carefully selected plants that required less maintenance, opting for varieties that could thrive with minimal effort. His new garden became an oasis of simplicity, filled with plants that brought him joy without demanding as much from his body. Though smaller, Mr. Clark's garden remained stunning. The vibrant flowers, thoughtfully tended, still bloomed in harmony, filling his space with beauty. His vegetables continued to yield produce, but now there was less pressure to harvest in excess. The towering trees gave way to smaller, more manageable plants that fit within his physical limits. In place of overwhelming abundance, he discovered a peaceful sense of simplicity, a reminder that less can indeed bring just as much joy. Mr. Clark's journey taught him that aging doesn't have to mean the loss of passion or purpose. It's not about giving up the things we love. It's about finding new ways to enjoy them in ways that are sustainable and fulfilling. His story serves as a reminder that life's beauty doesn't always stem from what's grand or extensive. Sometimes it emerges from simplicity and focus. By embracing a more manageable garden, Mr. Clark found not only joy but also a deeper connection to the very essence of gardening itself. His garden didn't become less beautiful, it became more tailored to his needs. The joy he experienced wasn't diminished by the smaller scope. It was enriched by the awareness that he was tending to his garden in a way that reflected his evolving life. Aging doesn't mean giving up on what we love. It means adapting to new chapters with grace and intention. Mr. Clark's garden, though downsized, thrived with beauty and meaning. His story encourages us all to reflect on what truly matters and realize that simplicity, when embraced, can offer a profound sense of fulfillment and peace. Let me now share the story of Mildred, a truly inspiring woman whose choice at 84 years old stands as a powerful reminder of the beauty and value of home, memories, and connection to one's past. Mildred had lived in her home for over 50 years, a place where she had raised her children, hosted countless family gatherings, and built a lifetime of cherished memories. The house wasn't just a structure to her, it was the heart of her family, the center of her life, and the foundation upon which all her most treasured moments were built. However, as Mildred grew older, life began to present new challenges. Her children, with good intentions, became concerned about her ability to manage on her own. They suggested she move to a nursing home, believing it might provide her with the round-the-clock care and support she needed. But Mildred wasn't ready to part with the home that had held so many of her life's precious moments. The thought of leaving behind the place that had nurtured her, where she had built a lifetime of memories with her children and grandchildren, was simply too overwhelming. Instead, she made the courageous decision to stay. Mildred's attachment to her home wasn't born out of nostalgia alone. It was deeply rooted in the security and sense of continuity that only a familiar space could provide. She wasn't just holding on to the past. She was holding on to the heart of her life. Rather than succumbing to the fear of aging or the pressure to move to an unfamiliar environment, Mildred embraced a different approach. She arranged for family members to check on her regularly, ensuring she had the support she needed while remaining in the home that had been her sanctuary for decades. The walls of her home told a story of laughter, joy, struggles, and triumphs. They were not just physical structures. They were the keepers of her family's history, the repository of countless shared moments. For Mildred, those walls weren't just her surroundings. They were a source of security, comfort, and connection. The house had witnessed her children grow, witnessed family gatherings filled with love and laughter, and witnessed the bonds that had formed over the years. No nursing home could offer her the same sense of belonging and familiarity. Mildred's story teaches us a profound lesson. Home is where the heart truly is. Sometimes, the best place to age isn't in a new environment but where we have built our lives, where our memories reside, and where we feel most connected to ourselves and our loved ones. Aging doesn't have to mean saying goodbye to the things that bring us joy, independence, and purpose. Sometimes the familiar is exactly what we need to thrive, even in the later stages of life. As we've witnessed through these 6 remarkable stories, aging doesn't signal the end of joy, purpose, or independence. Whether it's through embracing new technology, adapting to changes, or maintaining strong connections with family and friends, there are countless ways to live life on our terms, no matter our age. Mildred's story, like the others, reminds us that aging can be a beautiful journey, filled with meaning, when we honor the legacies and comforts that have shaped who we are. Each story reflects the resilience, determination, and grace with which individuals navigate their later years. Whether through embracing technology, the power of family connections, or a deep attachment to the familiar, there are countless ways to continue embracing life fully. Mildred's choice to remain in her home, surrounded by the echoes of her past, stands as a testament to the enduring power of memories, love, and the strength to age on one's own terms. Mildred's story stands as a profound testament to the enduring power of place and the deep significance of staying connected to the things that have shaped us. In a world that often encourages new beginnings and the act of letting go, her journey reminds us that, sometimes, the best way forward is not by leaving behind what we've known, but by holding on to our homes, our memories, and the spaces that make us feel safe and loved. Aging does not equate to surrendering what makes life meaningful. Instead, it calls for finding new ways to live fully on our own terms, in the places that hold our most cherished moments. As we come to the end of these inspiring stories, we reflect on the powerful lessons they offer about embracing life at every stage. Each narrative serves as a reminder that age is never a barrier to adventure, independence, or joy. Now we'd love to hear from you. What lesson from this video resonated with you the most, and how will you incorporate it into your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We look forward to reading your insights. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more inspiring content. Until next time, keep living your best life.